Got a message for you this morning. We're a little late, but had some technical difficulties, but we figured them out. Yes, let me know that you can hear me. I got a message for you this morning. Yes, indeed. I guess, let me see. I'm not getting any indication that, let me find out if y'all can hear me this morning, because I've been marinating my thoughts in terms of what I was going to share with you this morning, in terms of living the life that God has chosen for you to live. And what really brought this about for me is that this is resurrection, and it's about raising things from the dead. And we know the traditional approach to this of Jesus being risen from the dead. But I want to talk to you about the fact that we have stuff in us that's just lying dormant, and that our bodies are the tombs. And we have been put here to do the greater work. When the disciples were amazed at the miracles that Jesus had performed, he said, "These things ye should do, and greater things shall ye do." Well, you can't do the greater work if you don't have greatness in you. So we were born for greatness. Let me see what I can do to verify that I'm on before I start and then end up talking to myself. Let me call my technical person. Tammy, am I on?
Out and clear, sir.
I don't see any comments indicating that I'm on.
Because you're in full screen.
Okay. So if I did a smaller screen, I could see people's comments?
Or screen, yes.
Oh, no, that's okay. I don't need to see the comments. I just need to know I'm on. You saying that I'm on?
Yes, I'm seeing you loud and clear, sir.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. Well, I'm ready to go. Thank you. I'm ready to go. Close that door. All right, I'm ready to go up in here. So I'm going to time myself. My message this morning is not a long message, but it's one that I want to speak to, that I've been reflecting on my own life. And for a long period of time, I had the ability to do things that I'm doing now, but I didn't do those things. And what we know in scripture, that Lazarus was activated by a voice, by a word. Lazarus, come forth. And so I'm saying to you that life is always asking us to come forth, that most of us are in tune with fear. Most of us are in tune with the indoctrination of living in a culture that does not recognize your humanity. Most of us have been abused and gone through things and unfortunately not recognizing the reality that there's a power in us that's more powerful than anything that we have gone through. Most of us are sitting on the sidelines of life and living an unlived life and dying an unlived life. I was talking to Willie Jolly, who wrote the book called The Setback is a Setup for a Comeback. So, and I asked him, what is it you want to achieve before you leave the planet? I said, we get to a certain age, man, we've been doing this for a long time. I'm 78 and I'm older than you, but you're closing in on me. And he said, I only want to die once. What do you mean by that? And he said, and it brought me to this point, that most people die 3 times. When you live a life that God has chosen for you to live, you only die once. But most people, they die a physical death. And then they die the death of living a life that's not really living. They're surviving. And what it takes to live and what it takes to survive are 2 different things. These are people who don't know their purpose, who don't have any meaning in their lives and don't have any passion. They're not living a heart-driven life. And then the third death is when people stop talking about you because your life didn't matter. It was of no consequence. It had no impact, influence on them. So when we live the life that God has chosen us to live, we were born for greatness. And most of us allow ourselves to be restricted. Most of us go through life not knowing we were chosen out of 400 million sperm, not to be cooped up and living a small life, living a life as a victim as opposed to living life victoriously. Most of us ignore the callings on our lives. I know that I did for a long time. I was on jobs that they didn't like me and I didn't like them, and I didn't like the job. They paid me just enough to keep me from quitting, and I worked just hard enough to keep from getting fired. That's not living when you spend 40 to 60 hours a week doing something that's not you. And so I was a walking, breathing corpse, complaining about my situation, had the ability and the talents and the skills to change my situation, but it was lying dormant in me because I didn't call it up. I didn't answer the call to do something else. And I got fired constantly because I was not in my rightful place. And those people who fired me, they did me a favor. Because Marion White said that in life, when you don't have enough courage or insight to know that you've outgrown a situation and it's time to move on, life will move on you. And many times we stay in relationships where we're dying together rather than living together, not acknowledging the reality that relationships have seasons, some for a season, some for a reason, and some for a lifetime. And so there are many of us, and I've done it, been in relationships that exceeded the expiration date, that I was growing and the person that I was with, they weren't growing. We weren't going in the same direction, and we grew apart. I remember one person said to me, and I was downtown Brickell Avenue in Miami, probably around 90 degrees, said, "Get out." I said, "What do you mean, get out of the car?" "Why?" "You're a loser." Called me a loser because I was going through a tough time in pursuit of my goal and dream of becoming a nationally known speaker to inspire and motivate people to live their dreams. And when you're going for that which you want to do, you're going to go through some rough times. That's why we're reminded, think it not strange, that you're faced the fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have tribulations, that you're going to have some pushback from life. Things are going to happen. There are people who should believe in you, should encourage you, should be there for you. And they're only there when things are going good. But if they're not going good, they abandon ship. Many times family members would do that as well. And so I got out and I walked. I could have caught a bus, but I needed to think. I had to look at myself. She called me a loser? Are you kidding me? She drove slowly by me saying, "Why don't you get a bus? Are you going to walk from here to 126th Street?" I said, "I'm fine." She said, "It's too hot out here. You can have a sunstroke." I said, "Listen, I'm fine. Go. I'll be fine." And I walked. Then it took me a long time, several hours, but I walked there. And I was rethinking my life. And this is a time, to me, resurrection is about rethinking our life. Am I living a life that's me? A friend of mine named Bill Wash out of South Africa, and Brian Wash, and he was talking with his father about some things that he was doing with his life, and his father asked him a key question, and the question was, "Is that working for you? Is that working for you?" And it was a rhetorical question. because he knew that it wasn't. That Brian was miserable, and his life was a reflection of his thinking, of his development. And so as a result of that question, he decided to start working on himself. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. When shall the kingdom of God come? The kingdom of God cometh not by observation. They shall say, it's neither lo there or lo here. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. And so most people don't spend time. Got something in my eye up in here. Come on, Murphy's Law, leave me alone. I ain't messing with you. I'm minding my own business, doing God's work this morning. Okay, oh my goodness. So I got these long eyelashes for my mama. So anyhow, in order to activate the potential, activate the greatness, activate the power to live your dreams, it requires putting in the work. And most people are not willing to do that. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. They just want to think it and make it happen. No, you can be positive in your thinking, but if you don't commit yourself to working, nothing works unless you work. And most people are not willing to do the work. I remember two friends of mine, and one lived in Overtown, and I went with him over to Miami Beach. He had a brother that bought a beautiful mansion on Miami Beach, and we were in a hot tub, and we were talking to each other, and the brother that I knew that lived in Overtown, he asked his older brother, how did you get this mansion? And the older brother looked around, he said, man, a lot of hard work. And my friend said, I'm not willing to do that. Whoa. See, the ones that are living their dreams, the people that are doing the greater work, are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. And so this is a time that life is always calling us, always showing us signs of what we should do. And many times because of our environment, many times because we bought into the indoctrination of living in a culture that does not recognize and respect you, and we see the full display of that unapologetically in Nashville, in Tennessee, that it causes you to have a compromised vision of what's possible for you. And so I'll give you all your eyes can see, step out of our history into our future by holding a future and envisioning of what we want our lives to look like and commit ourselves to doing that.
When we look at, one of the greatest, no play on words intended, but one of the greatest things that you teach people is that you've got greatness within you. So many people are comparing themselves to others in this space and business and life. What does that mean for somebody to really recognize their own greatness and not always be so concerned with what everybody else is doing? Because we see a lot of opinions on social media and in the news media right now. How does somebody define greatness for themselves and share that, embrace it, maximize their potential with their own greatness?
Well, first of all, self-awareness is very important, Ryan. When I say that you have greatness in you, I didn't always believe that. Being adopted, born in an abandoned building on a floor, being a foster kid, being labeled educable, mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, failing again in the 8th grade, no college training, called the dumb twin, that it's an evolving process. We're born with greatness. This is a world full of distractions. This is what is called they call this world we're in now, the attention economy. And as a result, there are things competing for our attention, but very few people take the time to look at themselves, to examine themselves, and to answer the question, who am I? And Mark Twain said the two most important moments in your life, the day that you're born and the day that you realize why you were born. And so when we struggle with and get on this journey as you have chosen to do, this journey of self-awareness, there are certain things that you see that you say, you know what? I deserve this. And you elevate the level of commitment that you have to make those things manifest itself in your life. And then there's some fulfillment. And then you go back to self-awareness. Wait, I can do better than this. The best is yet to come. You're not going to settle there. Now you go back to self-awareness to examine yourself again, peak to peak, as Schuller once talked about. And so life is about evolving. And I had a moment just last week. I felt like Mother Teresa, and she said, you know, just when I thought I got a handle on life, the handle broke. My oldest son, he went on a search for his grandparents, and he provided me the information. I'll never forget, I called a brother that I didn't know I had. I said, hello? Hi. I said, my name is Les Brown. What is your name, sir? And he said, George Rucker. I said, oh, I got the right number. I said, George Rucker, my son, he did a search for our family, and I'm your brother. And I was so just disarmed with his response. He said, then that means that you're my brother. You and I got the same mother? Hey, man, we gotta meet. Wow. And my life was turned upside down. Come to find out, my birth mother, which up to that point, until he showed me a picture I'd never seen, was a motivational speaker. Say what? My grandmother, Beulah Rucker, she was a motivational speaker. And they said in this newspaper article I read about her, now the title of my new book is called, You've Got to Be Hungry, the Greatness Within to Win. And this article said she was hungry to learn. Coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. You can't make this stuff up. And so that this thing that we have to do is listen to realize there's a GPS in us. I know nothing about her, and yet she had a tremendous impact and influence on my life. I knew nothing about her career, but there was something in me that was driving me, and I was obedient to it. It didn't hit my twin brother. We're just 5 minutes apart. I came here looking out for him. He went out first. I said, check everything out. He went out first. Then I heard a slap and he screamed. As I stuck my head out, I said, hey, what's going on? And they pulled me out. Okay. And we're different day as night. But there was something in my grandmother that she passed on to my mother, Dorothy Bell. And she passed on to me. And Mamie Brown, who adopted us, God took us out of our biological mother's womb and placed us in the heart of our adopted mother, shaped and molded me into the person that I am. I was writing a song last night, an old Mary Wells song. I just changed the lyrics, and it's called, I've got two mothers and I'm not ashamed. I got two mothers and I love them just the same. But you can't handle the voice, Ryan. You might faint right now on Zoom, so I won't go there. So this is an evolving process that we have to be flexible, we have to be adaptable, we have to embrace it. And as Helen Keller would say, make your life a daring adventure, otherwise it's going to be boring. And so I have this curiosity about life and seeking and knowing that we don't have all the answers. And maybe that's why we're told, lean not unto thine own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. And to live with a sense of trust and faith because faith not tested can't be trusted.
Faith in all things, and faith in a greater power.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Faith it's an oil that takes the friction out of living.
When you talk to people, you make them feel very, very special. When I was the MC of this event, I was a nobody knew me, and you took time backstage to talk to me and to give me advice. How do you do that? To take time, everybody is nervous, you were close to going on stage and you took time for me.
I was working to find how could I get into the speaking industry. And I saw this guy that I had admired for years. And I approached him backstage and I said, "Sir, I'd like to meet you because I'm interested in doing what it is that you do." And he looked at me with such disdain and contempt. And he didn't say anything, and he just walked away. There's an old saying, you can judge a lot about a person's character based upon how they treat someone that they consider insignificant. And as he walked away, I said to myself, Lord, when I make it, any of your children that I can help, that I can have a moment with, and be able to let them know that they have something special, they have greatness in them. When I make it, I will never treat anyone like I have just been treated. I will always create moments so I can talk with them, just as I talk to you. Wow. And so that drives me. I remember giving a presentation at a major corporation, and all of these various speakers who had been in the industry for years, they were there with all of their electronic equipment and they had their PowerPoints. And I had a cardboard visual aid rolled up with a rubber band around it. And so I looked at all of their equipment. I was the only one who had no equipment, just a rolled up visual aid that I had created that night before. I went to the bathroom and I said, Les Brown, you are not intimidated by them. This is your time. You have some value. You can make some impact. And we had to go into a room to present before this panel. So I put my visual aid in the trash can. I went in the room. I was the only one that came in there and had no PowerPoint presentation. So the person who asked me the question, who was hosting it, he asked, "Where's your PowerPoint?" I said, "I am the PowerPoint." And he dropped his head like this. And he said, "I can't believe this." And so the other members on the panel started asking me questions. And when they finished, I said, they said, "Is there anything else?" And they said, "No." And I turned to walk out, and he said, "Mr. Brown, the reason that I dropped my head, I couldn't believe this." He said, "When I was 6 years old, my mother saw you at an airport when she spoke to you, and you kneeled down and looked me in the eyes and said, 'What is his name?' And she said, 'Earl.' And he said, I said to him, 'Come closer. I see greatness in you.' Wow, do you see this? I see greatness in you." And she said, "Yes." I said, "You're gonna make your mother proud. Oh my goodness." And I hugged him and I said, "Thank you so much for this opportunity for me to hug greatness." Wow. And walked away and got my flight. He said, "I never forgot that, and I never thought I would ever see you again in person. And I am the chairman of this committee, and this is your contract."
Every day, you're living out like people's dreams. Like there's so many people listening to this, and they're not living out their dreams. What would be your word for them? There's so many people that I don't like. It's a thing where it's like they're motivated, they're inspired, but I feel as though they don't believe they can do it. Like there's a concept where people are,
but because of our mental conditioning. So
how do you get out of that mental condition? Like I spent years, I'm reading 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Who Move My Cheese, Think and Grow Rich. Like I'm digging in deep. I have your books on my shelf, like digging in deep. So I've been able to develop for years.
Yes, but here's what you're doing. The reason that we're taught the road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it. You're among the few, because most people won't put in the time to read. I remember listening to this lecture, and this guy said, the average American reads one book a year. If you read one book a month, in 5 years, you would have read 60 books. Then the average American would have read 5 books. That will make you an expert. So I said, okay, I'm gonna read 3 a month. Why? I don't have any college education. I was labeled educable mentally retarded. I was put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, and I failed again in the 8th grade at Booker T. Washington High School. My goal was not to be a black speaker. My goal was to be a dominant speaker. I wanted to speak for AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, General Electric, IBM, Xerox. And so I wanted to do what Mr. Washington said. Mr. Brown, you want to make it in life? I said, yes, sir. He said, number 1, develop your mind. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Number 2, practice OQP, only quality people. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. If you run around with 9 broke people, he said, I guarantee you will become number 10. And he said, number 3, develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. He was so right. I was at a convention with a major pharmaceutical company in Fort Lauderdale, and I saw this sign called the Danger Zone. And I just finished speaking for this company, and I asked him, what does the danger zone mean? And he said, we're teaching and training doctors who are coming in from around the world how to convince their patients to take their hypertension medication so that they won't have a stroke or heart attack. So I asked him, do you have hypertension? He said, yes. I asked him, why do you take your medication? He said, I want to live. I said, then why are you having a fear-based campaign? He said, that's a good point. He said, can you train doctors? I said, absolutely. You got to have absolute faith. That contract, 16 speaking engagements, 1 month. They even flew me to Sweden, $640,000. Wow. When I was in Sweden, someone raised their hands and said, Dr. Brown, will we ask you a question? And the host said, he's not a doctor. He's not? No, in fact, he was labeled educable mentally retarded. How does he know so much about what we do? He did research. We can tell when he talked about going from one patient to the other, stopping and looking at their name on the clipboard and go in there and talk to them and make sure you touch their hand. That decreases the possibility of a malpractice suit being filed against you by 26%. He did his research. Wow. That's the value of never let what you want to say get in the way of what someone else wants to hear. The doctors were there talking from a medical perspective, but they didn't get to know the man who wrote the check.
Wow.
That makes a difference.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez. You got a lot of stories.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
I saw an interview with Will Smith a little while ago, and he said, greatness is simple. Here's what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it.
Yes.
So when you talk about desire, you talk about hunger, you talk about determination.
Are you willing to lose it all to gain it all?
Just willing to just go out there and make it happen.
I believe that since greatness is possible, then being excellent is not enough.
Right.
That anybody through observation and practice can perform at a level of excellence. But when you see a Larry Bird who formerly played for the Boston Celtics, you don't say, boy, when the Bird played, he was an excellent player. We're talking about greatness here. You see a Wayne Gretzky. And I believe that when you're pursuing your greatness, you don't know what the limits are. So you act like you don't have any, that you become intelligently ignorant. According to the laws of aerodynamics, as we know, a bumblebee isn't supposed to fly because his body is too large to be held up by the little puny wings. But the bumblebee doesn't know it. And what you will find in multi-level marketing, that you'll see people take quantum leaps in terms of their influence and their income. Why? Because being in a community of achievers, you discover some powers and abilities you have that you don't even realize. That L.C. Robinson was right, that things may happen around you and things may happen to you, but the only things that happen that really count are the things that happen in you. And part of being around other achievement-driven people, they'll push you to levels that you could never go by yourself. And that's why it's so very important that we do something that Jim Rohn said, and that is look at your relationships. You're building an organization. You want to develop greatness. The only way you can develop your greatness is you've got to be in a relationship with people that will push you, that will stretch you, that hold you to a higher standard, that will hold you accountable. And you have to look at your relationship, and Jim said, ask the question, what is this relationship doing to me?
Right.
Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually? Is it challenging me? Am I honoring my word as myself? Is this making me begin to look at myself and reflect on myself and raise the bar on myself? Einstein said that thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems this thinking can't solve. And part of developing your greatness is being around people who, as you run, you can run faster with 100 who want to go than with one around your neck. That they will challenge you to step it up to another level.
Right.
How to unleash our greatness? It is a great question. So how can we help people to do that?
I think that the people that are discovering how to unleash their greatness are people who have the mental resiliency and the courage to face failure, that you will fail your way to greatness. That most people allow their fear of failure, 80%, allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed. When you're willing to fail again and again and again, when you make up your mind to become unstoppable, when you make up your mind to become a no matter what person, then that will then give birth to a part of yourself that you don't know right now. And maintaining a spirit of optimism and challenging yourself and learning from your mistakes. Understand that the setback is a setup for a comeback. You have comeback power. As a friend of mine named Willie Jolly would say, that the things that you experience when you win. I used to be a state legislator in Columbus, Ohio. When I won a debate and got legislation passed, I won because of what I knew. When I lost a debate, I lost because of what I didn't know. And so now I had to go back to the drawing board and study harder to come back again and to challenge my opposition.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I would love to know, because you mentioned courage. According to you, can we develop that? Can we develop?
Yes, courage can be developed, absolutely. And there are things that will help you to do that by putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. Sometimes life will force you to become courageous. And so it's there that most of us don't develop our courage muscle. Case in point, that I've had the challenge, and I'm watching my languaging, of dealing with the fear of claustrophobia, of being closed in. And I had to have an MRI. And so I'd never had one before. So the first time I came, they had about 4 or 5 females in the room. They said, "Are you afraid?" When they opened the door, I looked at them and said, "No." I was terrified. But I developed my courage. But the first time they closed the door, I started knocking and said, "Hey, let me out, let me out." And then I had to call a friend of mine to calm me down. And he said, "Les," he said, "cancer is a thief. Let them find it before it becomes a murderer." He said, "Focus on the outcome, not on the process." And so the way that I handle fear is I don't focus on what is it that's terrorizing me. I focus on what is it I want to accomplish. And I see myself achieving the victory. I see myself living from the dream, living from that place that I'm reaching for in my mind. Einstein said the imagination is the preview of what's to come. And so we can bypass the things that will cause us to be afraid by looking at and being focused singly on the things that we're going for.
Yes. And I would like to have your point of view about something. When people are setting up big goals, sometimes they have big fears in doing that. So do you think we have to keep our big goals, or we have to lower the goals, or lower the action, lower the comfort zone?
We're living in an incredible time that there's nothing that we can't do.
Yeah.
We're living in a time where we have, in our lifetime, seen someone go from prisoner to president of a country in South Africa, Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
Where President Barack Obama, raised in a single-family household, an African-American male, became the most powerful man in the world.
Yeah.
So what we know is that anything's possible, and we must challenge ourselves. The only reason that most of us don't accumulate a level of achievement in our lives, one, most people end up aiming low. That's what I did most of my life, that most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they aim too low and hit. And that's what I did. I was a disc jockey. I was very satisfied. I achieved a level of professionalism and mastery in that area. And then someone challenged me and said, you can do more. And it took him 14 years to convince me to become this person that you now see. This person that you now see, this voice, which I consider my power voice, I had absolutely no idea that this person existed. But there are sometimes in life, someone can take you to a place within yourself where you can never go by yourself. And he saw something in me. And sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in.
And what do you say to someone who are saying, oh, nobody around me are believing in me?
And that's okay. If you have that, that's great. If you don't have it,
yeah,
it's okay. I, for years, read books of people who I didn't know, but I considered them as my personal mentors. I studied Winston Churchill, who said, the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but at the end, there it is. I studied Earl Nightingale, who said, all of us get in life what we are, not what we want. All of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. So yes. I studied these people and they mentored to me. I feel their spirits. I surrounded myself in my bed with their books and their audio, in my imagination, and listening to their audio programs. Yes. So how much does the library card cost? It's free in the United States. I don't know what in your country. So I suggest that you spend time working on yourself. Study the high achievers. I did that to find out how did they get there. I studied the life of Frederick Douglass, who said we won't get everything that we fight for, but everything we get, it will be a fight. And so as you study these people and imagine yourself in their position, and in your mind's eye, say to yourself, as I did, if they can do it, I can do it. They put their pants on one leg at a time. They breathe air just as I do. And so I believe that what you focus on the longest becomes the strongest. What we think about, we bring about. When you train your mind to serve you by reading a minimum of 20 to 60 pages a day, listening to audio programs, writing goals down, reading them 3 times a day, you're literally creating a new mental blueprint and imagining and seeing yourself already living from the goal. You begin to do some things that most people look at and see as magical.
Yeah, great. And do you advise to read a lot of biography?
Yes, I love to read the biographies of people because I wanted to know what is it that helped to develop their thinking, their character, their philosophy, their whole approach to life. What are the things they went through? What are the things that challenged them? What are some of the things that I can learn and glean from their life that will help me to get to that next level? It's very informative to look at the whole person as opposed to a slice of their lives.
I want to make a difference for youth. Do you think it could be a powerful idea to help youth to read biography?
It is very important that they read biographies. Yeah. I did that as a young person, absolutely, because I was I'm a twin, and so my twin brother was always held up in my face and I was taunted. I was called the DT, the dumb twin. And so I wanted to prove that I was not dumb. It just takes me longer to learn things than most people. And so I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., of Winston Churchill, of people that I admired, of Paul Robeson. And by reading and studying their careers, it gave me some clues. Success leaves clues, and so it gave me some keys to things that would become part of my life that would help me to become successful in the area that I had chosen.
At the beginning of your journey, did you had beliefs that the fact that you are black could be a disadvantage at the beginning?
At the beginning, I thought that that would be a factor for me. My mentor said, Les, don't focus on your paint job. Focus on where you're going. Once again, keep your eyes on where you're going. It became a factor in a variety of situations, but to my advantage. And what I mean by that, it gave me a strength and an advantage to motivate and inspire audiences. When a Tony Robbins or a Joel Osteen or a Brian Tracy, a Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, these are my friends, go into a primarily white audience, and 99.9% of my audience is Caucasian, and say, you have the power to live your dreams. People look at them and say, if he can do it, I can do it. But when I come in and say, you have greatness within you, you have the power to live your dreams, they look at themselves and look at me and say, if he can do it, I know I can do it, and they leave their running.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage I have.
I think so.
You know, both of you are talking about something that is so vitally important, and that is the whole idea of greatness. And let's talk about the process of greatness. So what hurdles did you overcome to get where you are today? Can I ask that again? What hurdles did you overcome to get where you are today? And we're talking about the process of greatness.
The biggest hurdle was the environment. To look around the community where I was born and raised, and to have a vision of something beyond there. And not having other children in my age category that had that kind of vision and that kind of dream, wanting to travel and see the world. That's something that I was inspired when I looked at television and I saw I Love Lucy and the Jackie Gleason show and all those television programs. I wanted to travel around the world and see things, which I'm doing now, which I expose my kids to, and they travel. Only 15% of the population ever travel globally. But to remind myself that this is not my rightful place, that I'm not supposed to be poor, and that I'm going to buy my mother a home, and I'm going to get her out of here. A man. My mother raised us. She said, a man provides and protects. I'm old school. I don't believe that a woman should work and pay bills. A man should provide and protect. If she wants to work, that's good. But whatever money you earn, you keep that for yourself. But a man pays the bills. That's the era that I came up in. And provide and protect his family. And so when I turned 18, I sat my mother down. I said, you never have to work again. And I took care of her until she was 89 when she made her transition. And so having the mindset that I am more than a conqueror, not just in lip service, but in how I live my life, that I can control my own personal economy. I can develop the skill set that will allow me to create multiple streams of income and to be my own boss. I will never forget when I quit a job and everybody asked on the job, where are you going? I said, I have no idea, but I'm going away from here. You know, sometimes you have to leap and grow your wings on the way down.
I say, give yourself a going away party.
Yes, that's right. I did that for a CBS station in LA. I had a big luncheon for them. And they said, what's the occasion? I said, I'm going in another direction. You said, you are kidding. You earning over 6 figures for 3 hours on the air. Why are you leaving? I said, I told you I wanted to do the radio program at home. You said, you want to keep me here and have me under your thumb. I said, I'm not a under your thumb kind of dude. I'm taking myself away from here so I can control my own future. I don't want to give you that kind of power over me.
Wow, taking back your personal power.
Yes, absolutely. You want to be able to develop yourself so you have walk away money. So that you can walk away. If the environment does not suit you, you can walk away. If you're not earning enough, you can walk away because you know that you can create it again, that you know that you have the ability. You've been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, including your finances, to create a life that you love and that you're excited about. Helen Keller said life is either a daring adventure or it's boring. And so I live an exciting life. It's great to be me.
Yeah. I love that. You know, move away from people that further entrench you into possibility blindness. Move away from a culture and people, and then take back your personal power. I mean, that's so practical. If you've given it away, that means that you have the power to take it back. Take it back and give yourself permission to succeed.
The kind of conversation we're having right now,
Yeah,
people don't get this often.
they don't.
No, you have always marched to the beat of a different drummer. Henry David Thoreau said, if a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps he's listening to the beat of a different drummer. Let him march to the music that he hears, however measured or far apart. You march to the beat of a different drummer. And that's why, as a leader, you impact and you influence people because you inspire them through your example to raise the bar on themselves.
Yes, that's really, really good. That's really, really good. I want to throw out another question. What hurdles will the average person have to overcome?
Well, I think that the hurdles that the average person will have to overcome, and the biggest hurdle that I had to overcome, is one and the same. And that is to be coachable. Yes, I know. You're shocked right now.
I am shocked.
You're shocked right now. You know,
Honda, Toyota.
The world is filled with know-it-alls who accomplish very little. and the toughest thing that it is, and I understand it, is to take yourself out of the driver's seat and be led by somebody who's achieved greater results than you.
I can't believe I'm here.
Okay.
You know,
After a while, it sinks in, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we often have bright ideas that we have, different projects that we're passionate about, but unless you have some strong leadership and a coach who can guide you through some things that you might not have seen or been able to anticipate, then you're not going to make it as far as you could. Many people are struggling as solopreneurs because they don't realize the power of teamwork. I'm blessed because I don't just have a dad, a great parent, I'm a part of a great team. And because of the coaching that I received from him at an early age, by the time I was 14, I was earning over $2,500 an hour. I was traveling, spending time on the road, on tour when most kids were still in school. And that foundation gave me the type of life that when I entered my 20s and I was doing things that many people did not know were possible, but I knew it was possible because my coach told me it was possible. I didn't believe him at first, but there's a difference between, wanting to be successful and being groomed for greatness. So when you get a coach and you identify a coach who cares about you, who loves you, who can see your potential when you might see your limitations, then you're able to outperform your greatest dreams.
Yes, and provides the enough pressure and tension between who you are and who you have the potential to be, and helps you to raise the bar on your own expectations. That's really, really good. And then you talked about the whole idea of a team. Someone once said you go as far as the 5 people closest to you. I say that they become your prophets And you don't go as far as your dream, you go as far as your team. And I'm only rephrasing in sound bites what you just said. That's really fantastic.
Yes.
So
I heard a person that said their definition of hell is on your last day on earth, the person you are meets the person you could have become.
my gosh, my gosh.
Okay.
That's a good quote.
Whoa.
And so we should take, part of the process
I'm gonna use that.
is not running around trying to meet everybody else, but spending enough time being introduced to your greater self, because your future self is going to thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your coach, your mentors, they can see your future self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one of the quotes that my dad says, which I love, which is true. Sometimes you have to believe in someone else's belief in you until yours kicks in.
Oh, I like that. Because sometimes we're blinded, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And the thing about John Wesley, I learned so many things from him. Pivotal points in my life. He helped me to begin to believe in myself when I was first diagnosed with cancer. And how old were you at the time you came in? I was about 14. He's 14. He came in the room. He said, "Dad, are you going to die?" I said, "We're all going to die one day." And he said, "No, but I want to know, is this cancer going to kill you?" I said, "Well, why are you asking me that?" He said, "You're in this room. I don't hear any motivational messages being played. The shit down. It's dark in here. Where's my dad? Is this going to kill you, or are you going to fight?" I said, "I'm going to fight." What made you do that?
I just missed my dad. And what most people don't realize, when there's like a diagnosis, like a cancer, for one person, the whole family is affected. And the whole family is impacted. And I wasn't ready to lose you. And I'm happy that you fought. I'm happy that you reinvented yourself and developed different habits and started to get all the expertise about the diagnosis so that you could still be here today.
Yeah, he's
defying the odds every day.
Yes. He started letting the shade stuff and said, "You need to listen to something. You need to put some positive stuff in your head." Mm-hmm. And so I followed his directions. I believe you're never too old to learn, and you're never too young to teach.